As far as they're concerned, she is their maker. She is the person who affirms their existence.
This might be our last chance to see God.
God.
She made us, didn't she?
Aleshea, congratulations on Is God Is. Now that's how you make a directorial debut. Amazing job. There's a bit of a revenge story here in Is God Is, but it also feels like a road movie and has a bit of a Western, spaghetti Western vibe too. But what really pulled me in is the relationship between the two sisters, because you immediately feel how close they are. But their dynamic between the twins is interesting because they're carrying the same trauma, but expressing it completely different ways. What did you want that contrast to say about how people process pain?
I wanted to affirm that there are different ways of processing pain. I wanted to show a picture and give life to these very diverging points of view. And I think I sit with the question myself of like how to respond when some nonsense happens, right? And I think it's a big question for marginalized people. Where do you go? What do you do? And I think it was important to me that we show the full measure of humanity, including that anger, which we understand is something that's off limits as far as some people are concerned in the culture to Black women and girls. And then also, but like what to do with that anger? How does it flame out? How does it impact the self? So I think I just wanted people to have a complex think about what these things mean for themselves.
Yeah, you've talked about wanting to put Black women's rage right front and center and not softening it or explaining it away. What did it mean to you to let that kind of exist unapologetically in this story?
It was quite liberating for me in the writing of it. And then it's liberating to give these actors permission or a reason to play that out in a manner that's seen by people like yourself all over the world, we hope, right? I think that when people who feel as I feel about these things see this movie, they'll get a charge. They might feel affirmed. In fact, I get letters from all kinds of people just based on the play of people who feel affirmed and are happy that this is in the world and opening conversation. So I hope that that continues.
Yeah, speaking of the play, I just found it online. It took me all weekend to find it, so I can't wait to actually watch it, sit down and watch it. But you adapted your own play for the screen. What was the biggest thing that you realized you had to let go from the stage version to make the film version work?
I needed to let go of some of the language. Honestly, like on the stage, there's so much more talking. I think that's acceptable and that an audience can handle. In fact, is necessary to fill a theater space
Sure.
for this story, I should say. And then when I was translating it, I understood like there was a way that I could access a kind of intimacy. You know, the camera can do all kinds of things that bring us closer to a body, that bring us close to like expressions, to micro expressions. And so I needed to let the images do the work. That old saying, show, don't tell. So I
Sure.
was able to just like let it breathe and find actually a new language for myself as an artist with imagery. So it was a delight, actually.
I love that. I love that. Now, the idea, the mother as God, really stuck with me, especially because she's both a source of love and sending them on this violent path. So, can you talk about what you were exploring with that duality?
Yeah, so I think, yeah, I'm so glad you pointed that out because really, I don't think she's the best mama in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like she sends them into danger. That duality was important to me because I wanted to, again, I think go back to this idea that this woman is allowed to swing to these different poles. She's allowed to be so enraged and have been in that bed smoldering for years. And she's also allowed to be a source of grace for these girls.
Right.
She is their, as far as they're concerned, she is their maker. She is the person who affirms their existence, right? So yeah, I think that complexity I'm always interested in, and also being a bit subversive. Like a really effed up mama to me is so much more delicious than what we usually see.
I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely. Now, at its core, this story keeps asking, is revenge actually healing or is it just another cycle? Now, when you finished the film and even the play, did you feel like you had answered that question?
I can't put a fine point on it, but I do think that what I've learned since writing the play is I've really thought about the impact of rage. When it doesn't get tamped down, literally on your body, what that does to your organs. And I think the closest thing I can get to a message, I'm not a message writer at all, is to really think about the impact of that anger. I think we should have it, we should be allowed as human beings, but also like it shouldn't stay too long.
Look, incredible job. I cannot believe this is your directorial debut because you crushed it. Amazing job. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.